Right, making tax digital then. I'm sure a few of you have heard a little bit about it, but I've spent the whole morning going through all of this making tax digital stuff. I've been used to reading HMRC pages for years now, so I know how daunting it can all sound to begin with. So I'm here to guide you. I'm going to translate it all into like home baker relevant language. I begin with stating this information is correct to the best of my belief, and at the time of releasing this, I am not an accountant and this does not constitute legal advice, etc. I will give you all the relevant links, as I always do, so you can read about this stuff for yourself on the official government website, because some people's circumstances do vary. Please note, I won't be advising regarding if you make income from property as well as your bakery business, because I don't know shit about fuck when it comes to that. So you're going to need to find that out for yourself. Also, if you already use an accountant, they're going to sort all of this stuff out for you, so you probably don't need to watch this video, so bail out now. But, right, in a nutshell, over the next few years, it's rolling out that self-employed sole traders, as yet not anyone that's in a legally defined partnership, for tax return purposes, sole traders will need to submit their accounts quarterly using special digital software, and then also submit the final tax return at the usual time, also via this software. This won't apply to most home bakery businesses immediately, because we will usually be under the income thresholds unless we're really, really busy. So most of us should have quite a bit of time to get our heads around it. HMRC will write to you about this in due course. They probably already are doing. They'll let you know when you have to register for it. This is going to be based on your gross income from your tax return for this current tax year, which is 2024 to 25. So these are the tax returns we're going to be submitting by the end of January next year. It goes on your business income, that's your gross income, your turnover before expenses. So it's not just your earnings. To have to make tax digital as soon as I struggle to say that, don't I? As soon as it comes in, which is from April 2026, your gross income on your tax return for 2024 to 25 will need to be over £50,000. That's your total gross income from all self-employed businesses, including property. So if you make a sales turnover in total of £961 a week on average for this current tax year, 24-25, then you'll have to sign straight up for it. They will let you know that. It means that for the tax year 26 to 27, you'll have to submit your quarterly accounts as well as your final tax return, all using this fancy new software that we're going to learn about. But then it rolls out further each year. So the following year, when you submit your tax return for 2025 to 26, if your gross income is above £30,000 for that year, that's going to cover a lot more of us. Then you're going to need to do the making tax digital business. And then the year after, that threshold drops to 20,000, and that's going to grab most of us, I think. £20,000 a year is an average turnover of £384 a week. And remember, that's your top ending before deductions, not your earnings. So you will have the option of registering for making tax digital early if you wish, if you want to test it out and get your head around it, or if you are rapidly growing, so think you're going to be over at threshold. Again, they will write to you about this, so pay attention to any emails or letters that you get from HMRC. There are exemptions for if you have certain disabilities, if you live in an extra remote location with no internet sort of thing. If it's going to be difficult for you to use digital software, you will need to ask them about your specific circumstances. There is an exemption application thing on the HMRC website that I'll give you the link for. So on that HMRC website, there's an interactive tool that will immediately help you to work out if it will apply to you. I'm going to obviously give you the link for that. So those of you who are all above board will know what your tax records need to show. I've got a whole course regarding this, registering and self-employed, how to do your accounts. My submission episode is going to need an update now that this is changing. But the software you use needs to be able to create and store and correct if necessary all your income and expenditure records. So it needs to be able to send and receive information to and from HMRC. So you should be able to just log all your receipts and your sales and then click a button to send your quarterlies when it's ready. And then at the end of your tax year, make your checks and adjustments for your final figures and click another button to send your tax return. At this moment, I still use paper bookkeeping, so I can't advise on choices of what software. If you use things like QuickBooks, I'm sure they'll let you know the changes they'll be making to accommodate this in due course. Let us know what's happening if you've got such software already. If you have more than one self-employed business, you're going to need to keep and submit records for each separate business. But at the minute, we have to do that anyway. You know, when you're filling in your tax return, you need a separate page on your tax return for each individual business that you've got. So the software that you choose, I'm hoping we're going to instantly find a really good standout one for free. Number one, it needs to be able to store and correct your income and expenditure records. Number two, it needs to be able to send your quarterly account submissions direct from the software. Number three, it should be able to receive information from HMRC when you're logged into it, such as your tax estimates that they send you, any messages that HMRC need to send you. And number four, it needs to be able to submit your end of year tax return. Do be aware the software will probably keep a record of all corrections that you make to your numbers, so don't be doing out dodgy on there, trying to rinse your numbers at last minute. There is a list of software on the official government page. So currently I'm only going to advise you to use one of those that the government is telling you about. Some of them are free, which is obviously what we want. Time will tell how good they are. So yeah, I will give you the link to that page that lists all of this software. One last note I'm going to make, from experience, scammers are going to jump on this. They're going to target small businesses because they always fucking do. So make sure that any emails you get, any links you click on, are from official sources, trustworthy sources. If you're not sure, Google it, ask in the Facebook group, and hopefully some of us, we're going to all gain experience along these lines, aren't we? Watch out for dodgy software downloads. You don't want to be giving, you imagine all the information you're putting in there, it's your national insurance number, your name, address, date of birth, absolutely everything. All of those HMRC details, you don't want to be handing them over to a global scam network. So please be absolutely certain of what you're doing. The information is out there on the internet. You can Google for advice. I will update in due course once the software is out there and being used. Please let me know what your experiences are, especially if you do need to submit stuff via this during the first year, because you can help us all guide and, support each other. But yeah, to summarise, it'll only apply to you from the next tax year, that's from April 2026, if your turnover before expenses taken off is above £50,000 for this current tax year. So then the following year, that threshold drops to 30,000, and then the year after that, 20,000, which is when it's probably going to nab all of us. It is coming, but don't be scared. We will suss it as we go along. Please all interact and help and give us your experiences, and we can all help each other sort it out quite easily. I'm sure of it.